Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charles. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and when we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And boy, oh boy, we have an interesting episode for you guys here that you definitely want to stick around for. So make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, as y'all know, Kevin Durant has been the number one reason the Nets have been mired in drama over the last 2 months. Ever since Kevin Durant made his request to be traded public, that's when the drama started with the Brooklyn Nets, and we all followed the story when he first said it. Oh, he wants the reports of this team, the Phoenix Suns, and all that. Now we're hearing today. I just read an article this morning that the Phoenix Suns are saying that they never made an offer to the Brooklyn Nets. You heard that. You heard all of these various things, and then obviously we had the meeting that happened about a week or so ago, where with Kevin Durant, Joe Tsai. I believe that meeting happened in London, where he spoke to the owner and basically demanded that it's either they trade him or they fire their general manager, Sean Marks, and fire their head coach that he vouched for in Steve Nash. And basically Joe Tsai told him to go kick rocks. That story we can verify because how do we know? Because Joe Tsai put out a statement on Twitter basically saying we're going to side with our staff. To me, it's unbelievable. A $500 million guy is walking up to a guy that's worth $8.8 billion in his own house. And just imagine it, in his own house, trying to dictate the terms. I thought that was laughable, and apparently maybe Joe Tsai felt the same way. And then yesterday, obviously, Kevin Durant decided that, you know what, I'm going to rescind my trade request and I want to stay. Now, where does Kendrick Perkins enter in all of this? As y'all know, Kendrick Perkins and Kevin Durant used to be teammates when they were with the Oklahoma City Thunder. That's one thing. Number two, and Kendrick Perkins just basically came out, was it yesterday, and said that Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook never liked each other. I'm not sure if you guys heard that, but anyway, don't want to go off on a tangent here. But yesterday, Kendrick Perkins was asked to give his raw opinion on the news of Kevin Durant deciding that he wants to stay with the Brooklyn Nets. And boy, oh boy, Kendrick Perkins did not hold back at all. But before we get into what he had to say, this video is brought to you by our sponsor Aura, who's also the official sponsor of the T-Wolves. Do you know what the fastest growing crime in America is today? It's identity theft. Imagine trying to log into your email only to see that your password has been changed. Then you start getting weird notifications from your bank and credit cards only to find out that all of your personal and sensitive information has been totally compromised. If you think it can happen to you and your family, just know that in 2020, over 49 million Americans were victims to identity theft, costing them a combined $56 billion. That is why we are excited to partner with Aura, who's the sponsor of this video. Aura is the #1 identity theft and financial fraud protection. Aura monitors the dark web and alerts you if any of your passwords and accounts have been breached. And funny enough, after using Aura, I discovered some of my credentials were floating around in the dark web, and the app showed me exactly when and where the breach happened. In addition, Aura allows you to set spending alerts, and they'll notify you of any suspicious transactions. Aura is 4 times faster than any of its competitors in alerting you if someone is trying to open a credit card or obtain a loan using your name. And remember this, every 14 seconds, someone becomes a victim of identity fraud. Don't let it happen to you. Now click the link in the description and try Aura for free for 2 weeks and see if any of you or your family's personal information has been compromised. Start your free trial at aura.com/dreamerspro. And when you try Aura by using the link in the description below, also know that you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So take a listen to what Kendrick Perkins had to say here. It's only about a 48-second clip. Take a listen to what he had to say here, then we're going to really come back and unpack this thing. Take a listen to that.
KD don't have the power. KD don't have the juice. So what happened? He tried to request a trade. Nothing happened. He tried to get Steve Nash and Sean Marks fired. Nothing happened. So all of a sudden, guess what? Training camp is coming to near. He figured that teams are not willing to part with young superstars like a team like the New Orleans Pelicans that's not willing to part with Brandon Ingram. And so all of a sudden, KD had to figure things out and say, you know what? Now I got to go take this meeting. Now all of a sudden I have to go with Rich Kleiman, walk up in the office and look these guys in the eyes and say, let's figure this out. Now, how can they figure it out? I don't know, because the trust is broken. But this is just an example that KD is not as powerful as he think he is.
So you heard what Kendrick Perkins had to say. Now, first of all, let's address the elephant in the room. Let's talk about whether or not he actually is making any points here and he's actually saying something valid. When he said that Kevin Durant just doesn't he doesn't have he simply doesn't have the clout as Kendrick Perkins. He said he's not as powerful as he thinks he is in this particular situation. And the first question is he telling the truth? He is 100% telling the truth in this situation. He's not talking about does Kevin Durant doesn't have power maybe in his environment, maybe with his money he doesn't have the power to do things, maybe he's not an influential person. He's not saying any of that. What he's talking about is the situation that involves him and the Brooklyn Nets and the owner Joe Tsai. And if we're keeping it to that context, he is 150,000% correct. He does not have any power for a few reasons. Number one, Kevin Durant signed a 4-year contract that just kicked in, that he signed. Nobody forced KD to sign that contract. He signed it all on his own. So that's number one. You give away some of your leverage when you signed the contract. Number one. Number two, the contract is kicking in at the beginning of this year. So you also have a contract that you signed that you haven't even played a single day in to start fulfilling that contract. That's number two. Number three, from some of the reports that we've gotten in the past, we've heard that the Nets, according to the way the contract was structured, Kevin Durant would have to be paid, I believe, $21 million, 21.5 or something like that, $1 million before the season started. So that contract that you signed, that you have yet to even earn, you've also been given, quote unquote, an advance on it. They've already paid you a portion of it, however much that is on the contract, on the $200 million contract. They paid you what? They paid you what? 5% of that contract already, right? 20 million, yes. 10 million, yes, exactly, about 5 or 10%, whatever. We're shooting a lot of videos today, but anyway, you guys get the point. They paid you that. And number four, you're walking up to an owner of a business as an employee, and you're making demands. How does that work? When in the universe does that happen? The highest paid employee cannot walk into his boss's office and start making demands. It don't work. I don't care if they pay you $200 gazillion billion. If you're staff and you're working for a company, you can't go in there and start dictating the terms of how the thing works. So Kendrick Perkins was 100% correct when he said he didn't have the pull. He wasn't as powerful as he thought he was when it pertains to the situation between him and the Brooklyn Nets. That's the first thing. The second thing worth exploring is this. We all know that Kevin Durant likes to respond to people that say things about him, especially prominent voices. Do you think that Kevin Durant is going to simply let this go and understand that Kendrick Perkins, whether or not he agrees or disagrees with him, is literally just up there giving his opinion because that's what he's paid to do? Do you think Kevin Durant is going to let it go, or do you think Kevin Durant is going to take exception to some of the things that Kendrick Perkins had to say and go back at him? Do you think that KD's going to go back? KD's going to comment on him. And if he does go back at Kendrick Perkins because of what Kendrick Perkins said, do you think that makes Kevin Durant look like he's not focused on the bigger picture? Because in my personal opinion, if KD were to go at Kendrick Perkins, it shows me that those guys don't really have their eye on the ball. There are a lot of guys that have been doubted in the past, a lot of NBA players. And usually what these guys do is take inventory of it, and then they go out there and get people back the next following season. It happened to Kawhi. Kawhi Leonard didn't have a good reputation when he was leaving the San Antonio Spurs. Some say he quitted. Some says he faked his injury, X, Y, and Z. What did he do? Kawhi went out there, played basketball, and helped the Toronto Raptors win an NBA championship. At the end, on the championship podium, he said, a lot of people doubted me. A lot of people said I was faking an injury. But he laid low. He went out there, did his thing, let his play, let the results speak for him. Then he said his piece, and he wasn't even like combative about it. He just said his own part and moved the hell on with his life. Do you think KD is going to be able to let it go? Whatever you guys think about the situation, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section, and we'll definitely catch you on the next episode. Peace.